I got called to be 18th man on that Monday. Just running out and warming up in front of the crowd, and that was like the best feeling ever. I was like, wow, this is amazing. I think just at that point, like, I don't think my confidence could have got any higher. And then I had to take bone out of my heel, put it into the middle of my foot where the joint was, put a plate on top, and then they fused my foot together. So that was another 8 months.
Right, Jackie boy, we're on. I think this is our 3rd episode of Player Focus, so got one of our oldest and closest people and dear to our family and show them he's Jack. He's actually not far from where we live for a bit, old Jack in the old hut, but that's another story. Jack, we try and start this by asking you, how did you get into rugby? Give us an idea.
Started when I was 6 years old. My brother played it, my dad played it, so I just kind of went in with them, and so I was at East Leeds for a bit, and then we ended up moving house. So then I went to Ulton, but I think it was about 40 kids that come down, so they had to split up into an A and a B team, so basically big, tall, small lads, put them in B team, and all big lads were in A team basically, and then obviously as we got older, the B team was the better team. I think went on like a 2-year unbeaten run.
Wow.
It was like Alex Sutcliffe from Cass was in there, Lewis Johnson was in there, Ben Kilner who was at Wigan was in there. There was a fair few to be fair that was in there, and it was pretty good for a while. And then there was like people who then had matured and had beards at 14 like Cam Smith. So like we had to...
That 8th person who said Cam Smith when they say beards at 14.
Yeah, looks about 40 now, like, but so like when we kind of, I think it was around 12, 13, we kind of, we didn't fall off, but like we struggled to tackle, the big lads who had matured, and then obviously when we matured, we kind of clawed it back. Then went into scholarship at Leeds. And then just went through the ranks at Leeds, went through scholarship into academy, and then into the first team.
Give us an idea, Jack, for people, young lads who are watching this. So you're at Ulton, and you've had some good results. Then you're starting to get, like you said, a lot of them have got bigger. How does a lad get picked up? Tell us the process of how. We do this a bit, and people say Bob Pickles, or they mention somebody who changed their lives. What were your moment?
I would probably say Steve Fox. He was a coach.
Is Huddersfield now?
Yeah, it's Huddersfield now. I think he's just got the head coach for the women's team, England.
Yeah.
So he was the scholarship. He was the coach at, I think it was scholarship or academy, and one of them. And he was also my amateur coach, my coach. So like we kind of learnt a lot from Steve, and obviously progressed through it, through the ranks, and he obviously helped me out for the whole of it. So probably Steve Fox was a massive reason.
And did he invite you to Leeds?
Yeah. Well, like I said, there was a lot of us who played for Ulton who went into Leeds.
Got you.
Probably had something to do with Steve Fox, but it's massive help to Steve Fox for doing that.
Wow, yeah. It's weird you've said that, because I know people ask me about the amateur game and junior game, and you've got likes of Siddle and Stanley and Ulton. It's very hard to get some players who are like in Division 3, which Division 4 amateur club and junior club, because they seem the best place to make their way to, eventually by the time they're 14, 15, they seem to make their way to them top clubs, thinking that's a better chance of getting a scholarship. But actually, if you study it, they reckon that actually, if you stay with that club, you got more game time, you might get more yardage, so you get a lot more. If you're in a good team, you need 16 every week. It's quite difficult when you get to academy. All of a sudden, you get your legs blown off because you've never done a yardage carry, or you don't know how to kick out the yardage. Or do you agree with that? Sometimes it's not the best.
Yeah, I mean, if you win a 6-0 week in, week out, you're not really going to end up doing the tough stuff, really. You know, the arm wrestles in games, or like you said, taking them tough yardage carry coming out of a corner and stuff. So, you know, sticking with your team, even if you're going through tough times, it's like probably worth doing.
I would say that's a tip for everybody who's, you know, when we put this out, I really do believe, I think Oliver Wilson, Rowan Mills, a lot of them who stayed with tier 3, tier 2 teams. I don't know if Rowan actually then went to Siddle, but anyway, I like the journey for kids who stay where they are. They seem to handle the academy a bit better because they're used to, you know, what's going to come into it. I think I've watched a lot of junior. We now get it on YouTube, so you get to watch the 16s, the 18s.
Yeah.
I think the market shrunk, Jack, a bit. So the teams, how many teams would have been in your league at Alton? You just said there you had 2 teams. That's from your age group. That's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, I think they won that good though. They dropped down.
Yeah,
they dropped down. They did fall.
But would there be a league of 10 or 12 teams?
I think about 10 teams. Yeah.
Right, yeah. I think that's where they're struggling, the numbers. I think now they're down sometimes down to 6 teams in a league.
Really?
I'm not saying every league, but I think that's what, hopefully the rugby league, when they get these new people and come in and try and understand how much important it is for junior rugby in it round. Did you play at school?
Yeah, I played from school.
So that's amazing.
Yes. I used to play I just love playing rugby. I used to play like at lunchtime, break time. I was just playing rugby constantly, and then I'd play after school, and then sometimes I'd play after school and then go to training and train. Well, yeah, I just love playing rugby, so I just play it whenever I could.
Did you sport Rhinos as a kid? Where? Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Got you. I should have known that, shouldn't I? Yeah. And who did you used to watch, or were you?
Growing up, I had obviously Rob Burrow, because he was just, you know, he wasn't the biggest player.
You were a 7 at that side. Were you a 7?
Yeah, 7. Yeah. It kind of just made me realise that you don't have to be this big, strong rugby player to be able to play, you know, top grade. And obviously he had his footwork and stuff, which that was what I like. You know, I like to do at a young age and stuff. I mean, still do now, but yeah, probably Rob Burrows, the main one. I used to watch Sean Johnson as well over in Australia, so them two probably the most big ones.
See, that's another point, isn't it? You get a lot of young lads and they ask them why they got it. Sean Johnson gets a lot, whereas he's probably not been the most successful player, like in regards grand finals and World Cups and daily M's, but actually I reckon the way he plays must help promote the game more than any other player, because honestly you won't believe how many of mine, especially halfbacks, full, oh yeah, Sean Johnson scored, Benji, you know what I mean? It's like them type of players who are going to make you. Rob Burrow, I mean, the pocket rocket, you know what I mean? It's them type of players who are going to make kids who are watching want to play.
Yes, well, it's just exciting to watch, isn't it? I mean,
I didn't think it.
You're watching players just going through the motions and, you know, playing shape. It's not really fun to watch, but like a player who's stepping 4 blokes and going under posts, it's like, right, I want that to be me. So
wow, that's another great point, that, isn't it, that we haven't looked at there. You think about it there, we're always thinking, oh, this guy's a role model, but actually if you sat on watching rugby and you think, no, that's what I want to be, that's different, isn't it?
Yeah.
It makes complete sense how we were always watching you remember the flamboyant plays, the Mavericks, don't you? So give us an idea of the transition from being 3 times a week at Leeds when you were in Scholarship Academy.
Scholarship was twice, Wednesday, Saturday, I think. And
then Scholarship's under 16s.
Yeah.
Under 15s.
Under 16s, and then Academy 17, 18, 19s all in one.
Wow.
So Scholarship was Wednesday, Saturdays. And then Academy was, Academy is pretty much similar to what we're doing now at first grade. They're in a bit later because I think a lot of people do college, you know, in academy and stuff and have that other side, but it's pretty similar time spent in the academy than it is to first grade.
Did you find, we are academical, Jack? I'm going to laugh here. I can't believe I've asked that.
Is that a stitch up? Is that a stitch up?
No, but obviously you were pushed. We'll roll on to the story of you making your debut and forget about that. But at school, did you enjoy your subjects, or were it just rugby looking out at window?
Well, I mean, I enjoyed PE. That's
it.
And to be fair, I mean, I didn't mind doing like maths and English because I enjoyed, my teachers were mint. Like I enjoyed being like in the classes. So we got told we had to pass as maths and English, or we'd have to resit at college.
Wow.
So that was a big thing in my head. Whereas like I didn't want to have to spend more hours doing, work. I wanted to spend that doing rugby. So I used to go into school early. I asked my teacher if I could come in early and do extra English work and extra math work to make sure I passed.
Dark horse that.
And I ended up getting a pass. So.
Oh, well done.
Yeah.
And so you're at Leeds. Do you have to go to college then at Leeds? Or are you just purely playing rugby then?
So my first year of academy, I did a level 3 diploma in sport, a level 2, and then the year after I did a level 2 PT course. That was when I was breaking into the first team, so it was like I'm not turning up. Basically, I'm training pretty much full time all the time now. The times are different of where I'm training to how my lessons. It's like we'd have a lesson at 11 in the morning, but the first team would be training then, and I prioritise training with first grade over doing a level 2 training course.
Would you, if you're advising a young lad now coming through the system, would you say get your education, or would you say no, you're going to set the second one, just take your chance?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people do come at me for this, but I just think if
you're going to be a dad soon here, so if your baby watches this in 16, 17 years time and thinks, no, that's the worst advice you've ever.
I just feel like if you're thinking of, you need to focus on plan A. Like there's no. Let me explain. How do I explain this? Having a plan B distracts you from plan A. So just go full out for what you want. If it don't work out, if it don't work out, then figure it out. But there's no point having just put all your energy and all your focus into what you want. And like I say, if it don't work out, then just do something else.
Remember that when think about what he's just said. 18 years time.
That was my mindset anyway. I never wanted to be anything else other than a good player, and my mum would always go, "Oh, you need your education, in case anything does work out," and I'd just tell her like, "Well, I'm gonna make it, so it's fine."
Hey, you've got to have that confidence, haven't you?
Yeah, just back yourself.
You've actually got. When I first met you, you didn't say too much at David Lloyd with your mum and dad, and I were looking at you thinking, he answered a word here, and you just kept looking with your eyes. But I saw something in you, I thought, I've got it, but he just didn't show any. But you definitely had any confidence then. I think you definitely weren't scared about how good you thought you could be, because I can remember like saying some things I said about your game watching you, and I was watching how you like things, but you didn't. Your communication never came across because you were a big shy. Is that shyness?
Yeah.
Or nerves? Is that?
No, I'm definitely. To be fair, I think still now I'm still pretty socially shy, but I always have massive confidence in me playing rugby. Like I'll always say I'm the best, basically. And it's like I think if you don't have that mindset, then you don't really have any belief in yourself. Like,
well, that mindset helped you, Jack, if you think about it, because when you and people who are watching this and maybe don't know Jack's story, but you're playing for academy. You get the call of the Doncaster Challenge Cup. I can speak about it from my end. Is that I said to Danny Maguire, "Oh no, he's going to do something tonight, and I know it's going to change his life. I hope he's ready for it." And Danny will tell you this. I also know that you were. I think you were nearly out of contract. So there's just going to be. I could just see it, and we went to the game, and you scored an hat-trick, didn't you? And it were like, and I just remember Richie Mathers tweeting something, and it 10, 20, 30 texts, and it were like, "Who is this kid?" And I think quite a few people were saying he's the most exciting prospect we've had at Leeds for a lot of years. And I was thinking, how many academy games did you have up to that point? And how old were you then?
On that year or in
total? Well, that year. I don't think you'd played that many, had you?
No, I think I played majority of them in fact, no, I'll lie. I I think I played half the season in the first year, and I ended up tearing my meniscus in my knee, so I had to have operation. Unfortunately, Leeds paid for that, so if I'd had to go through NHS with that, it'd probably knock me back. I don't know. I know it's a long waiting list on the NHS, but that got me back for the start of the second year of academy, which then I played, I think, maybe 10 games, something like that, and then that's when
I think you only had about 14 games in total before you made your first team debut. I believe it'll not be done many times again.
Something like that.
So when you got the call up to play the Challenge Cup, was that because Zach were injured, or were it Zach then?
It wasn't Zach, it was Ashton Golden.
Ashton Golden,
so I just remember it was the Easter weekend, when you play Friday, Monday. And the Friday game, I think Ashton hurt his back or something like that. So I got called to be 18th man on that Monday. Just running out and warming up in front of the crowd, and that, it was like the best feeling ever. I was like, wow, this is amazing. And then like throughout the whole warm up, I have like Dan Maguire coming up to me and Delaney coming up and saying, "Oh, be ready." And Delaney was saying, "Oh, I'm struggling here," and Danny was like, "Get ready, because Frogger's he's struggling big time here." So I'm getting more excited than that, and then Brian Mack just come over to me and says, "Don't worry, you'll get your chance next time." But like, I wasn't even gutted. I mean, it sounds bad not to be gutted, but I wasn't gutted because just the atmosphere and me being able to warm up with the first team, it was just like, it just blew my mind. Yeah, it blew my mind. And then obviously we played, so they played Monday, the second game of these thing, and then they had the Challenge Cup against Doncaster on Thursday, and that's when I got a call off Chris Plume, who was the defensive coach. He just says, "All right, we need you in." I was in Wednesday for the team run, and then I played.
And I don't even think, how many games had you actually played at fullback?
It wasn't many. I only played halfback in academy.
Now, honestly, I try and tell stories sometimes to players who say, "Don't corner you," and your story should be used everywhere for a kid who were playing, 7 and probably played 4 or 5 games of fullback to suddenly get thrust into fullback and make your debut and score a hat-trick on your debut, and then it's just incredible, isn't it? And then how many run of games did you get then?
What, from Doncaster?
You were right up to...
Yeah, so I think I played every game, but obviously, like you said earlier, my contract was up, so I ended up getting dropped for the Challenge Cup semi-final against Hull, because, we weren't happy with the deal, basically, without going into too much detail. And then Brian Mack just says, "You're not playing this week then." So I'm like, I was gutted, but I mean, I was just like,
that might have been straight. To be fair to Leeds, looking back, it was a funny position for everybody, because the pressure on you were just getting. I actually think sometimes I was worried about you because of the pressure on you and all. It would have been too quick for you. And Mac were quite good at sometimes taking you out of that arena. Whether we just think it's because they were too, having cracked with Gary and, the negotiation were going off, and it were like, it's getting too good here, So, and a lesson for everybody again. It was quite hard. I knew it wouldn't be hard for you anyway. I knew what would happen, and then all that once you've shown what you can do, then it's Leeds use a stacking system of salaries, which we all know about, and it's like, well, are you prepared to go in that stacker? That, but you'd move that quick. It were very hard to say, well, Jack starts there. If people don't know the game, it can be, I'm not going to mention figures as in your figure, but people could be talking about playing in a grand final on less than 8,000-9,000 quid per year, by the way. That's not per game. So people shouldn't be shocked when they were saying, don't be greedy. You're like, come on, this lad's got a potential here to do what he wants to do, but we got it sorted, and that was a good thing, wasn't it? It was sorted. I know it was all tough for everybody, but looking back, it probably made you stronger, and certainly helped me and all, because I learnt to how to protect somebody in that position and go, this is what I'm here for here. We need to take the hassle for him because they don't want to get to him. And I think you actually helped me a couple of times on Twitter when I was getting slaughtered for saying I was making fortunes at so they had charged him out.
Got some right amateur fare. I got people saying, who's this kid think he is? I was 17, I was like, who's this kid think he is? Think he's bigger than Leeds already.
Yeah.
Demanding one share. We never demanded
it out. Yeah.
Like, oh, wow, what's going on here? But I was like, I was so naive to it all social media. I mean, I just focused on rugby. I wasn't really, social media. So it was just a whole new thing for me. And then,
well, it broke in the press, didn't it? We were all like, how do the press know we've even Jack's in negotiation? And then it were like, oh no. And then it were like, I can remember getting 20 phone calls saying, can't believe Jack's demanded. And I went, what are you on about? And then it were like, every paper started saying, young lad Walker demands this. And I'm thinking, this is ridiculous. Maybe we should have come out what we're actually. So I get friends when I go for a meal and they say, when you talk about $8,000, they think you mean $8,000 a week, and you have to sit there and go, no, that's a year. What, a kid can play and I say, yeah, he could be asked to play for 70,000, and he's on, and he can't afford a bacon sandwich. You know what I mean? He can't afford a jacket's money, but it's just incredible. Anyway, don't get me going on that, but we've looking at that and how quick it were happening. Big raps here for Ashton. Because I can remember negotiating your deal and speaking to Ashton because I felt I had to because he was my player, still is. And I was like saying to Ash, look Ash, how do you feel? I never forget Ashton, well, he's proper man in it. He was like, I love Jack. I've got things in my game that I can't do what he can do. I need to learn in my stuff. Let's get it on. We'll both compete against each other. And I was like, the only person I'd ever seen do that was Adam Milner with McShane. When I took him to Cass, Milner went, bring him. I know I can learn, and I was like, but Ashton had your back all the time, didn't he?
Yeah, we were really good mates with me and Ash. Like you said, then I still back him to this day. I think if you put Ashton at fullback, I reckon he's the best defensive fullback there is.
100%.
And at the time, I lacked that massively. So I knew I could learn loads of fashion. We used to do stuff after combat sessions. We'd do like goal line defence, how to lock the ball up and stuff. And he helped me out that way. And I, as much as I was just coming through and young, he wanted a couple of tips off me, attacking wise. So I think we both learned off each other. And we were good mates. We were never what's the word? Like salty towards each other.
You definitely won't.
Yeah, it was good mates.
And it went, and you know what? And it probably come to a stage with Ashton when you were pushing and you got that new deal, and then another, whatever new deal, it would probably Ashton might have been thinking, this is going to be tough for me, and inevitably it was tough for him. But I promise you, what a man Ashton never once made it personal. It was just like, yeah, I hope he does that. He's a good lad, and that's so good on Ashton there. So let's roll forward. We're in the grand final. There's a famous story, Jack, that I think I tell the story, but I don't know if I got it wrong. But
I think you get it slightly wrong.
I get it slightly wrong, but I tell everyone that you didn't have a lift. So Gailey rang me on the Wednesday. Gailey told me that he thought that you wouldn't enjoy collecting 10 bombs they would have put under Old Trafford on you, and he were laughing. Because, again, build the story up. Castleford had beat you up 8 times out of 8 for the last 2 or 3 years. Yeah. They dominated every game against you. Going into the final, you'd have been 4 or 5 to 1 underdogs. Cats were the big favourites, and you're 17.
Just turned 18.
Just turned 18-year-olds. Old Trafford, 70,000 in your 8th game of your life, and probably 9th game at fullback in your life. And you've got Gailey, one of the best kickers, and Casa were going to put that many moves on you. But I said to Gailey, I don't know if he remembers, I said he's just not nervous. He will not show any nerves. He just does not get. I couldn't believe how cool you were. So give us an idea. A, how do you keep that cool? And B, did you ring Danny Maguire for a lift, yes or no?
So Danny Maguire I think it was the semi-final, which is still a massive game. I belled him before the game. I think it was like maybe an hour before we needed to be there. I says, can't get a lift. That's good to get me. You're like, you what? I was like, yeah, no worries, I could get you. So he took me to the semi-final.
Right, I spell him.
And then I think just at that point, like, I don't think my confidence could have got any higher. Like, I was at the top. Like, I just thought, without sounding too arrogant, I just thought I was the man. Like,
I'm brilliant.
I'm the best. Yeah, I'm the best. Like, it is what it is. The confidence was just sky high, and regardless of what anyone said to me, it was just, like I said before, I just enjoy playing rugby, and it's just a dream country, and I'm going to enjoy every bit of it. And I think, if I remember rightly, I was walking out, obviously walking out in front of everyone coming out of the tunnel, and there was a song that come out, and it was the song at the time. It was one, don't pick up the phone, that was just playing in my head. But that was a popular song at the time. I was just like just chilling, just singing that song to myself. But yeah, I just didn't get nervous. I think I did get nervous. The last time I got nervous that I remember was the Super League, my Super League debut, because that was like the time I had to back it up. That was the only time I got nervous. And then after that, I think I got man. I don't know if I got man of match that game. I got man of match 1 at games, and I just thought, right, like I'm loving it. Just playing.
It was incredible. That final, just incredible. Looking back, and I say, young Louis Dodds has just done it at maybe 19, 18. He'll tell me off, but he was same as you. Just know, like going into grand final, well, was better than me. It was that type of attitude. Which is some people, coaches think, oh God, I don't trust these young uns because they're going to get too nervous. I'd actually say what you've just said. Most of the young uns, Mikey Lewis, I reckon a lot of them would just go, are you kidding? There's no nerves here, son. I reckon that's the opposite. I think it's probably the older players who get more nervous than young uns who actually don't know what's to come. They're like, yeah, I'm not bothered here.
Well, to be fair, like I started lost. Like looking back now, I had so much to learn, but I just played how I thought, I should play. But I think it's pretty. We can sit here and go, it was Danny McGuire that won us a grand final. And I 100% agree with that. I mean, he told me where I needed to be, and just literally just told me exactly what he wanted from me throughout the whole game. And it was just mad.
He was the king on his stage. I always remember there were one bit, I knew what he'd do. I just knew I'd been there since I was 17, 18. I knew what were coming. But there was a bit in that game, Jack, where you made that break about 6, and I thought he could end up with man of match here. This could be this story could go all about Wilde here, and you went bang, 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 and then you sometimes used to do that. You'd start to fall over, and I was like, oh no, you miss your footing. You only had you were on full back, weren't you?
Yes, I did. It was Milner I stepped, and then I went straight through, and then put left foot on the full back, and it was McShane. I mean, I was falling over. I think the fullback hit my ankle, and then it was McShane that come across and got me. But I used to struggle with my balance a lot.
You did.
I can't remember what it was, but I used to struggle. I used to, in my gym sessions, I'd have specific things to work on my balance. I remember I played a game in academy one time against Wakey, caught a spiral bomb, beat defenders, went all the way through, dummied, went past fullback, no one in front of me, and I've just fallen over. And I was like, oh my God, that'd have been one of the great shots ever. It was just one of them. I don't know, I can't remember why. But yeah, I had to work on that a lot.
You did. I can remember when I first watched you, think, wow, but I think that. And then I can remember, to win a grand final at that age, got to be, people don't understand how, I can remember thinking to yourself, there's a famous one with George Best when he said he won the 68 European Cup final at 19. And he got the European Player of the Year and all this, and then he said, in the changing rooms, and I think there's a bit of this, I'm not comparing to George Best, by the way. I put me said, no, he said that everybody in the change rooms, but it were there, that were there, everything, there were 31, 32, Bobby Charlton, they were all stood going, we did it, this team's going to, that's it for this team. And he said, I'm sat there at 19 thinking, this is the beginning of my life, I can't believe it, but he's looking around change rooms and they're all old men who've spent 10 years trying to get... And I think that squad at that time, well, probably a lot of that squad were like, this is it, this is all that hard work. But there's you at 19, sitting change rooms thinking, you're joking, lads. I want another 10 of these. Would that be what we're thinking going through your head?
Looking back now, I mean, I didn't really take it for granted, but I feel like I'd appreciate it so much more now if I won it than I did back then. I just thought that was the normal.
Exactly.
It's weird. I just thought,
exactly.
Right, we've won it. It's
there next year.
And then next year we're fighting for this place in Super League. Same again year after, and then 2 years after that I've been injured. So it's been a nightmare really. But I just thought that was the norm, and if I won one now, it'd be a total different story.
Honestly, I can see it. I can see the thing, and I can remember watching the squad thinking, Danny's leaving. He was the last one of the greats. You know, the Kylies, the JPs, the Rob. You know, Rob come off the bench that day, I think.
Yeah.
And then you've got Kev. And I was thinking, wow, they're going to have to rebuild here. And obviously then, your coach at the time with Brian Macko had loads of belief in him, to be fair. He did. I've got a... Mac had just... I think Mac saw he was a free spirit and just didn't... I don't want to do a thing to him, just let him play. I don't want to say a thing to him, just let Jack be Jack. And I can remember you going to... Did you play the World Club in Australia? And I can remember Gus Gold on the telly. I always remember it, and he's like, oh, is this the young man they're all on about, this Walker? Wow, look at him, he's got no nerves. And then you're having a good game, and then you got injured.
Yeah.
This was probably the start, wasn't it?
Yeah,
You'd had it
before. It was my knee again. So I did that in 2016, and then it was my knee again. It was the same thing. So.
And then, again, this is... Not to get too down on it, but obviously from then on, Jack, you know, you got your dream deal, you got the dream, you've living this life, everyone starts knowing you. Give an idea to people. Did your life change? Do you walk down the street then and people say, is that Jack Walker? Do you walk in cafes and people are going, keen on my autograph? And I talk to players about this. In the north, especially rugby league players are well known, aren't they? You know what I mean? Especially if you're in Leeds and around that, you know, did your life change from just no one having a clue you were to?
100%, yeah. I think the biggest one was actually going out. You know, going on nights out and stuff. You know, there'd be loads of people just asking for photos. Obviously, you have a couple of drinks, get more confidence, and it was. I think that was the main thing. There wasn't so much like I'd go shopping and there'd be someone coming to and ask, you know, for a picture and all that. You'd get that the odd couple of times, but it was massively on the nights out where you'd get more people asking for photos.
Yeah, got you. You didn't pull them up before that. The bosses are out corner, we'll have to be careful. So take us that. So you've done that, and then, like you said, I think from that day, Jack. How long have you, without getting too miserable about it, but how long have you spent injured to, you're now 22?
22, yeah.
So you're still a young man.
Yeah.
But I reckon you've had 2.5 years out, you know, and I mean, the one at Warrington, still breaks me heart, because you look like you're on fire again, and then, what injury with that?
So that was the first time I did my foot snapped. I snapped my Lisfranc, Frank, which is a ligament basically holds your big toe and your middle toe together, just like your main bit of your foot. Snapped that, broke my foot in 3 places. But like I didn't. I think because I was having such a good game and the atmosphere of that game was so big, it was. I just tried running it off, and I was just thinking, right, this pain ain't going away. Normally, I can run it off, but this just won't go away. And I was gutted to be fair, and I had to come off, and then I was just saying, I was like, Liam Sutcliffe was off at that point as well, and it was like, oh, I was it, and I says, I'll be all right next week, don't you worry. And then I got the news, season done. I was absolutely wounded. And then, I don't know if that was COVID year, 2020 it was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So the season got pushed back. And so throughout the whole of my rehab, my joint was rubbing together, which caused arthritis in my foot, in the joint of my foot. So I had to get the whole operation. Well, it was different operations. To be fair, we went and seen a couple of specialists and everything, and it was basically this is your last chance. If this don't work, then
that's it.
Yeah, pretty much.
You don't know. Just for the cameras, I'd always employ your ear. You know, like
yeah.
just kind of
team show me. Come on. So this operation, they had to shave the bone where the arthritis was to get rid of that, and then they had to take bone out of my heel, put it into the middle of my foot where the joint was, put a plate on top, and then they fused my foot together. So that was another 8 months. It was all timing of. I found out so I did that in February 2020. So that was the full season. So that was 8 months season done. And then after that season, my foot just didn't feel right. So obviously we went for a scan mid pre-season, we found out again. It was like, I think we got to about, it was like February time, where it says, because we'd seen that many specialists, they says, all right, you have to do it again, another 8 months. I think it come to where I could have played with 4 games or something like that in the season, but I think we got us in.
Well, Ferner there, has Mac left now?
Yeah, Mac
Is
left.
this Ferner or is this Rich?
This is Rich, 2020, 2021.
Got you.
Yeah, so it was. Yeah, I could have played maybe 4 games at the back end of 2021, but for the sake of having 2 years out and for the sake of 4 games, and then I could have led into pre-season, it was just pointless. So that was the full 2021 missed, and then we're into 2022. 8 games in, amigos. So, but I think
you can still laugh, Jack.
Yeah, you better laugh than cry.
Yeah, of course.
No, so it's tough because because I've had this injury now. I can't be treated like every other player because not every other player's done this kind of injury. So the training load I do is different to everyone else's. Because basically I've got to learn how to walk again on this foot properly. Instead of leaning to one side because of the injury on the inside of my foot. I've completely lost the arch in my foot. It's a flat foot and it's tilting inwards. So if that's tilting inwards, it has an effect all the way up your leg. So my knee's tilting inwards.
God.
So it's all it all links up the chain. So like we realise now I can't do the same as everyone else because my body can't handle it due to this injury. So I think that week we had a week off and we ended up doing like 7K sessions, 8K sessions, high speed. And we went and did round hills. So we were sprinting up hills and stuff, and because obviously my foot on the chain went into the game and it was too much of a load in that training week. On my hamstring.
Which happens a lot. I think it happens a lot, doesn't it, when people compensate. Like, you've got to make sure that everything else is...
Yeah, so I think in pre-season it was the same hammy I did. I was doing extras in off-season to try and get ready for pre-season. Hammy went then. And we're like, why is it gone? So we didn't really know. It went again. So we did some testing and it was my calf that wasn't strong enough. So my hamstring was working for my calf. So it was working overtime and that's why it kept going. So then we worked that out. And then obviously now we know it's the training load. That why it's gone this time. So it's hopefully, fingers crossed, touch wood. This is we understand and this is it now. When I'm back for good.
Do you know what? It's weird because in between them, when you have played your games, you know, people are very quick to judge you, aren't they? And they're like, oh, you're not doing this no more. And last time you came back before your hamstring, I could see it coming. I was like, wow, it's coming. Just give him 10, 15, 20 games and then judge him. Don't judge him. And they do, people don't look into your story. This might help people see what you've been through. But you're quite a determined character, that helps. I don't think you take too much on, as in negativity, because you're quite a positive kid, so that helps. But if anybody else is watching this and, this young Lewis Dodds with his Achilles, he's same as you, top of the world, and then bang, and then we've had it to, it's part of being a rugby player, Jack, really, isn't it? If you think about it. I don't know any player who I've had on my books who hasn't gone through at least 2 to 3 years of absolute time. Danny, I never forget, I tell people don't understand, Danny come on his second ACL, and it's when, against Wigan, when he did it, and it had ripped every lateral ACL, it ripped everything. He got told off the surgeon that it was the worst injury he'd seen since a skiing accident. And he more or less said to Danny, it's all over. He gave him his last, said, look, you want me playing? And Danny had this same as you, 50 feet, I can remember Danny ringing up and saying, well, I can't get any worse than us on the tee. And this is, he ended up playing another 150 games and the rest is history, and I think it is part of the game, and hopefully you've been through your 2.5, 3 year early, so you're going to get a right run at it. Because what you're saying there will hold you in good stead. Once you understand your body, you can understand what you need to do without letting, push things that you go, no, I'm not. And I know it because I've said that a lot. I think a lot of top athletes know their body better than anybody. Old-fashioned clubs are like, hey, if you can't do this, you can't, that's a load of rubbish in modern day sports science, isn't it?
Yeah.
pushing people to try and break them is the idiots, isn't it? A lot of people would have said, no, look at the big picture. We want Jack on top form on our, and one thing I think you've had as well is, and this is again for young players, is you're breaking the team, and I think you said Ashton were, number one, you were two. You then get the one shirt, and then it would have been at that time, would Ashton have played a bit more when you got injured, or were it straight into Myler?
I don't know if Ashton was Ashton there.
I think Ashton a bit. I'll have to think, but I think that, and then again, it's the worry of you coming back. And I know what you're like. You make me laugh. We wind each other up, don't we? So I can remember when you got injured last time, and they put Richie from 6 to 1. And every time Richie caught ball, I was in front of him in stands, and I was clapping and saying, "What a player!" And I could just feel text coming, "Sit down, you fat." You give me some stick, and I think I lasted about 10. But it's quite funny how I love the way you watch football, because you want the team to do well, but you're like me. I'd be like exactly like that. And most, I hope he drops this. We all said the right thing, but actually, if you're so competitive, you're like, I can be thinking, he's actually playing all right here. And then he went right back at play with Gailey, and we were like laughing to each other, saying, "Oh God!"
I think it was the Toronto game, wasn't it, when Gailey got flick pass?
Oh yeah,
and then Richie on that post,
and all standing going.
Oh my God!
yeah. And then it's weird because you're coming back again now. This Zach obviously has come back to the club, and you've got another challenge on or whatever. And I think that's probably the hardest thing at me. I think that sometimes it's you got in that place. And now it's your job to make sure you go and get that shirt back and make sure you make it yours, innit? And you just want a fair crack at it without the injuries, because a fair crack at it, you do play one. Do you know what I mean? And again, I look back and I probably think you'll be fullback for England for 10 years. I can probably, these conversations you're having. But again, this will make you mentally tougher, Jack. All this is going to be a dream for you. Once you get your run going, all that stuff will be there. You'll be so strong mentally, but like, mate, what I've been through, that's... You're kidding me. So I think eventually it'll, fingers crossed we tap the wood, but it gets you through. Give us an idea of people who are watching it current, Jack, of how do you meet a new coach who's never seen you really play? And has Rowan seen you play live? And
well, I mean, I hope he's watched a few games when I have played. So,
because I reckon Dave Furner come and said, "No, best thing I want to do is see Jack Walker. Never got to see you play."
Yeah, wowza. No, I mean, I hope he's seen me play. But I mean, I've been training for the past week and a half-ish. I think I've trained pretty well. Just still trying to get that fitness back now. So I've been out 7 weeks. So it does take a little bit out of you, but it doesn't take too much to get that back. Probably 2 weeks worth of training, potentially 3, to get your fitness back. And I think I'm just getting there at the moment. I've done a few good things. Hopefully that's catched his eye, and then he goes, all right. But I mean,
you feel like you're starting again
all the time. Every time I'm injured, I feel like I'm about to square one, but it's just one of them you got to get over. I think for me, every time I do get injured, it's a massive blow because of my foot and how long I was out for. People don't really understand the mental struggle it is being injured. When everyone's off on everyone's got a day off, going and playing golf or whatever, or a couple of days off, and you're in there doing a watt bike session by yourself, doing a gym session, rehab all by yourself, or out on field running, getting flogged by yourself. It's a tough place to be, and I mean,
it is contract-wise though, and all, isn't it? You've got your future, you've got your baby coming, everything's going lovely for you in your private life, and it's like, wow, we've got another year. And it's weird again for players and people who are watching. You go from being on top, it will be a 4-year deal, and it's one of them, innit? And then all of a sudden you're thinking, oh my God, this is going to affect my contract. This is not football, Jack, is it? So. No. Some players have had bad injuries, and they've gone, yeah, but I'm worth 5 million in 3 years. This is rugby. You know what I mean? It's not, the money's not about in the game to financially secure you in your first 3 years, is it? So that side of things as well, on top of the pressure. So I see it me all the time. I see it. I wish people could realise how hard it is for a player, especially in a game as physical as rugby.
They don't. I mean, to be fair, I'd say I'm pretty mentally strong where if anyone says out to me, I'm like, injury prone or this, that and other, you know, it don't really, or, you know, so-and-so's miles better, get rid of him. Like, I've seen it all. Like, it don't really bother me, and, you know, I'm pretty mentally strong in that way. I just think, you're a clown.
Yeah.
But, I mean, people who might not have that, you know, that mental strength, I don't think people realise how much, you know, you might not think it's such a big thing saying, but I mean, if they do see it, it could be a massive blow, because obviously you're still really down that you're injured, you're not playing, and all that kind of stuff, and then to see that on top of it, it's just like, wow, what's going on here?
And most of you lads, I've had 15 years now, your release is the rugby. That's the weird thing. The release is the rugby. It's everything you do is to say, oh yeah, once I'm on pitch, that's me.
I think that was one of the toughest parts for me in my time off of my foot. That was any stress whatsoever. It was released by playing or even training, like a real intense training session. You can kind of get rid of that, but when you're literally doing, I think I was in a boot and I was in crutches for 3 months, and then I was in a boot for 6 weeks. Like, it's just gym, and it's not, and maybe a little bit of skier. Like, you can't really do much, and it's all that stress building up, and then, you know, like you said earlier, if someone's playing your position and they're playing it really well, it's that's on top of it, and then it's a lot does build up, and I mean, it's just one of them where it's. But when you are back fit and you are back playing, I remember the Waker game. That was the first time I kind of felt like I was kind of getting back to myself. Just the best feeling ever. You feel like you've been through 100%. All that, and you're back and you're playing well again.
I think that's massive for this player focus we're doing, that people can understand that. A lot of people don't go into the detail what you did there, Jack. So good on you, and how much it can affect you. But it's good to see you come out at the other end, and now I can see you're back smiling again, and you're back on it. And I think not just for Leeds, I think for Super League, I think for England, I think a lot of people had you down, and you know what I mean. This is the like I said, the start of your career, and how it were all gonna, you know, crack on from there and everything. So you still, when you said this, you're still 22 years old. That's the good thing. You've probably played another 15 years. It's going to be, you know, some story in it when you get through to that other end. I was reading one last night, Brad Fiddler, and he said some unbelievable stuff in his book. It's like, if you can't play through pain, don't play rugby. It's the first thing he used to say to all young'uns: learn to play with pain, learn to play with all this, because if you don't, you won't survive. It's just part of being a rugby player. And I thought, wow, imagine playing something that he said to you. Actually, a lot of the top players over here say it. They go, mate. I think Danny's gone into coaching, and he says to young'uns when they come off, he's like, what are you doing? And he finds it hard not to be too intense with them, say, what are you doing? They say, no, I've got this. And he's going, mate, you need to learn to play with that.
I'm like that, 100%. Yeah. I mean, I played KR away, and I obviously didn't know at the time, but I got tackled in my shoulder and I ruptured my AC. So there's 3 ligaments that attached down here.
I think I can remember
my collarbone, and it all 3 had gone, and I was.
Did he do that?
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, he did.
You know it was.
Yeah,
you know it was. I went mad at him after the game.
He was a right carry as well.
It was.
Did about 3 people, and Danny came out of nowhere. But yeah, I was in agony the whole game and couldn't actually physically pass the ball. But I've always said to myself, I'll never come off the field unless there's something that stops me from running. Because at fullback, you don't really need to make that many tackles, so you can kind of get away with that. But like obviously, if a torn hamstring, I can't run, or you know anything lower body. I think that's what makes me come off. Like I've took countless amount of headshots. I think there was one on Sam Mower against Catalan. Kick off, and I was clean out. I folded him like a deck chair.
But I used to fear for you because you were that young at that time. I used to say, oh God, he's that young and he's only, what weight were you playing at 80?
2018 I was playing at 77 kilos.
I mean, that's just ridiculous now when you look.
And then 2020 I was 85.
And they had eye protection. Obviously, you're a young lad at 18. They were putting bombs up and they were coming at hunting you, weren't there? And you were coming. And I can remember you coming out at line at one time and thinking, oh my good God! Every time he plays right back, they're shooting on him and they're going to catch and pass, and it was smash. And I'm thinking, this is ridiculous. Gaz O'Brien got it a lot. I can remember Gaz playing that first sweeping move, and he kept getting smashed on that split ball you've got to do.
Well, I think Makerson got me a few weeks back.
Yeah.
Flew out of nowhere, didn't receive, and I got the ball, but he just absolutely smashed me, and I was in.
But it is unfortunately, and it's not unfortunately, it is part of the game. So let's run all this forward. You're back in 2 weeks.
Next week.
You're back next week. You're looking to play, obviously, be part of the squad.
Yep.
Leeds have got a lot of pressure on, really, to get up that ladder. You've got a new coach, new systems. You said to me earlier on that you're really impressed with Rowan because he's wanting you to run. You said he's wanting you to use all the grass and run with it. And as a Leeds fans, you're expected to play a good brand of rugby. That's what I had a coffee with Rowan, and I said one thing I think Leeds fans are expected to do as a fan is supposed to play rugby, which means offload and second phase and just play what you see and play some rugby. They're expected. So I hope Rowan.
Well, I don't think I've had that since 2017. Like the off the cuff play, playing up what you see. Obviously, I had Danny Maguire playing like, and then cuff ball offloaded. Even Jonesy used to offload.
Yeah.
Obviously, it suits my game that I love playing against broken defences. Suits me, and then no disrespect to Agar, but when he come and he likes structured play. Which,
Rich liked it all to be.
Every coach is different, and that kind of didn't really suit my style. But I tried leaning into that and did my best really. But where Rowan's coming now he wants us to play, it kind of suits my game again. So I'm looking forward to it.
Lastly, we'll finish off. You've got some good news coming. Give us the date.
28th of August, baby girl, aren't we?
Wow.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, that is crazy, isn't it?
Time to grow up.
Married?
No, we're not married. No.
Hey.
Absolutely not.
It's a wrap. I've done that because there are lasses here. Thank you.
All good.
Top man. Right, it's the new basketball challenge. Jack Walker, the winner. 3, the king. Rest, 0, 1 and 2. Fafita got 2. Joe, James. Jack's actually the favourite to actually do this. Here we go. Right. What I want. Oh! That 2. Oh my God! 3. Go on, Jack. Oh, what a 2 out of 4. This is a draw.
Get it backwards, I win.
Yeah.
Get it backwards, I win.
You're gonna lose it all though if you don't. Oh!
Oh my God, no way. No way.
Oh, look at that.
Right, that's fine.
Still the king, but what an effort, Jack Walker. 2 out of 5.
Look at that. Oh, yeah,